multiple problems in the Uncanny return. Hello, welcome to a Smurpy video, and today we are looking at the Uncanny X-Men issue 1. Yes, it is finally back. And first of all, I got the David Cockrum variant, which has the nice second Genesis on this side. And then on the back, we have the original X-Men and Xavier in the middle, which is pretty cool. So let's have a look what we got in store. Okay, before I carry on, there are going to be spoilers, so if you don't want to get any spoilers, now's the time to press start. So straightforward, this is the new team of X-Men. So led presumably by Jean Grey, and Kitty Pryde is perhaps sidestepping or something, I guess. She's been headmistress for the last sort of year or so. That's obviously not in comic years, obviously. And we got a young cast here, which I find is quite cool. I always did enjoy the all-new X-Men team. And some of the later guys, but mainly the all-new X-Men team were a really solid team. I did like the Wolverine and the X-Men. Okay, it's good to see Multiple Man back. Big fan of Jamie. I loved the X-Factor run when it was his whole detective universe, his detective agency, should I say. It was a crazy series, and I was really gutted when it ended. So Jean Grey is in some sort of weird day trance here, and X-23 is getting Jamie in the head. So it's quite interesting, and we go into this great big double spread here. Got Bishop over there, X-23, and pretty much everybody's killing Jamies everywhere. It's kind of a bit mental. And clearly Jean Grey can see the future. It's quite interesting. And then, boom, she wakes up. One thing that I did enjoy was these two, Bobby and Laura, having a bit of a joke together. I've really missed Iceman being Iceman and having some real good banter, etc. And Kitty is taking the kids out on a trip to take on Forearm. It's pretty interesting, although the kids don't agree with taking them on. They want somebody bigger. And as you can imagine, things go wrong quite quickly. Kitty phases straight through the plane, and it is heading down. And that's quite a big boom, smash, bang, wallop. And meanwhile, in Africa, they're having torrential rain, which is Storm realizes clearly not natural. So something's going on, and Beast concurs, I guess, at the same time. So it'd be interesting to find out what there is. I'm starting to get a feel for there's lots of little things happening around the globe to the various big team that's kind of, I guess, scattered is the word I'd say. Meanwhile, the X-Kids take on Forearm and Wildside's team. I can't remember what they're actually called, but, you know, they're a team, I guess. If you know what they're called, the last time I saw Wildside, I think it was X-Men Blue. The Mother Vine storyline, I think it was. So, you know, you can imagine the kids get stuck in, etc. As they do. I am liking Glob on the X-Men side. They kind of did him over in Wolverine and the X-Men, sent him off to the Hellfire Club. So I've kind of liked him in what was it? Astonishing X-Men, I think he was. Not Astonishing, Extraordinary X-Men. I think that's it. Meanwhile, Jamie just pops up randomly and gives Noah a little slap and asks where Kitty is, and he realizes he's late. So clearly, Jamie knows that Kitty's important to something that's going on, but we don't know what, which is pretty cool. Meanwhile, Polaris, Nightcrawler with a new beard, that's pretty cool, and X-25 arrive and start evacuating the kids. Although X-23 doesn't agree, and well, you know how that ends. Ouch. Meanwhile, after X-Men Gold's Senator Bad Guy, we now have a new Senator Bad Guy. Senator Ashton Allen, and Bishop's back. Not sure how I feel about that. Not really a fan. I like Bishop in that Cable mini story, but the whole way they redeemed him and it was all fine was a bit poor in Uncanny X-Force, especially when Storm was so mad at Cyclops over the whole kidding Professor Xavier why he was possessed. It kind of irked me that Lucas got away with it after, you know, killing millions in the future, etc. It's all fine. Meanwhile, seeing these two together is quite cool, Angel and Psylocke. Although I'm not sure if Angel's got his full mind. You know, that's a whole thing as well, that I'm still missing a few pieces. Meanwhile, we got Northstar back in the mix and Cannonball. So, Jean is about to give a speech. However, it is President Jamie Madrox's time. Although he's not a president, obviously, but he's there, and it's pretty funny. I like Jamie. Jamie was always a funny guy. And meanwhile, Beast is dealing with the kids, and, well, he doesn't like them talking, so he tells them to behave themselves. And Anil points out who was there to help him, well, or slap him. Jamie, which is quite interesting. And meanwhile, you know, they're not really sure what's going on, and then boom, guess what happens? Multiple night time. So it's a bit bizarre that Jamie's just rocked up here, and there's a lot of him, so they're not really sure what's going on. So pretty much it's shut Jamie down time. But this isn't a bloodthirsty battle as it was at the beginning, if that makes sense. This is more of a contain and stop. Vampire Jubilee, I think she's still a vampire, gets caught up in the mess. It's interesting to see her back in the whole pink thing. It's like, you know, hey, I'm going to go back and be a teenager again, even though I've been a bloodthirsty vampire. It's a bit bizarre, them trying to go down that route and trying, I guess, relive times forgotten. So Jamie's clearly, or the Jamie modables are clearly after the senator. And Warren gets a little voice in his head, and, well, he just goes off. So what's that about? And I'm loving the shield. That's pretty cool. That's something I don't think we've ever seen. Meanwhile, Jean is doing her whole, hey, I've had enough. And the senator disappears. And it's all over. Because if the senator's disappeared, multiple men disappear somehow. So did they steal him? Or is something else going on? And meanwhile, Jean Grey has some questions to answer. Was she behind the senator's kidnap? Probably not. So our headmistress has been kidnapped. Must be something keeping her contained in the chair, I guess. These little shiny little things. Looks like elastic. And, you know, you can just lift your foot out of that. I'm not sure what's going on there. But she can't use her powers. That explains everything, but she can still lift her feet out of that. And surprise, Apocalypse. It's been a long time. So is this Evan Apocalypse or is this Apocalypse? I hope it's not Evan. I liked Evan. Be a shame that kid got ruined. And it's to be continued. Meanwhile, we have some backstories. We have a Bishop story, a Jean Grey story, an Armor and an Old story, and an epilogue. So, got Kelly, Ryan's son, Ed, Kelly again, and Matthew. I like Matthew's work. I liked it when he did the Phoenix story earlier this year. So I'm not going to go into as much detail about this, but, you know, it's Bishop. I feel like there's a whole detective thing here. I did enjoy him when he was the whole detective in District M, and when he was with that Uncanny X-Men with Storm's team. You know, he had the whole detective feel to him. That I always really dug. So he's clearly got a mystery to solve. There's probably about a good 8 to 10 pages here. Coffee tale with Jean. It's quite nice to see her and Storm catch up. I can't dig that. That's pretty cool. I'm saying dig a lot. Seems to be my word for this issue. And, oh, let me guess, there's a whole hate thing going on here. And a whole blast thing going on here. I'm not even sure what's going on here. But there's lots going on. I haven't actually read this part. And Anil and Armor end up in the sewer. Nice place. So, but it's good to give, I guess, the kids a little bit of action. I'm hoping for some more character development with these guys. They get brought in and then they get underused. You know, Armor had a good stint in Astonishing X-Men by all means. And I know he had a good bit coming to the end of all new X-Men, etc. But and in Uncanny X-Men, they did give these kids some action or some character development, but not much, etc. And it spills over into something else, and it all kind of comes to a head. Not sure what it's really all about, because like I said, I've not actually read this bit. I'm not really actually going through this bit either, mainly because I haven't read it, but just give you a feel for it. Anyway, it goes wrong, and well, the old lady that Jean's kind of talking to kind of gets hurt. But there's something else going on here, something sinister. Kind of loving that. So who is this character? Give me your guesses. And this is the 620th issue. Now, for me, it did annoy me that after 500 and something, they decided to change it to 1 to get some sales. That bugged me. And I think they did the same with Spider-Man at some point, although that's with Spider-Man they reverted back. So I would prefer this to be Uncanny 620 instead of 1. Just call it 620 and let's move on. Let's get it back on track, because, you know, that's the way it should be. And I'm liking this cover for issue 2. Moldable Man. I hope there's I can't remember if Jamie's actually, the real Jamie's dead on Mirror Island, and yeah, it kind of gets confusing whether he's just hanging out with Layla Miller, married. You know, you guys tell me, because I've lost track a little bit of where Jamie actually is. Is he here or is he somewhere else? Okay, so all in all, a good start. I like the art. I like the story. There's lots of mystery around it. There's lots of unknowns. It's not evident of what's going on. And it feels fast-paced as well. And there seems to be, they certainly seem to be developing the characters as well. Am I a bit worried about a big cast? A little bit. I like a nice, neat cast of about 6, maybe 7 characters. I think it works sometimes better focused on it. I love the fact that Wolverine's not in here. And we do finally have an ensemble of X-Men casts. Sometimes I found over the years they focus on a character, and they can't kill that character for me because they show him off too much. So I'm glad to see different characters all together. Jean being back's quite nice. This is actually the first time I've read her. Other than that Phoenix story, I haven't actually read X-Men Red yet. Got plenty to read. As usual, there's lots of X titles out there, so that's one that I still need to go back and read up. I'm reading X-Men Gold and Blue at the moment, so that would be nice to catch up on that anyway and see how Jean actually returns, etc. Don't give me any spoilers.